The Final Shape weapons tuning preview dropped and it's got a ton of weapon buffs. There's a few that really stand out, so I'm going to try to quickly go over what I think are the biggest ones and the weapons you should try to get before the Final Shape launches to take advantage of these buffs day one. Small note before, all weapon damage mods such as minor, boss spec are being built into all base weapon functionality. To offset this, exotic primaries and trace rifles are losing 10% damage to minors, making their total damage to minors only 30% extra. Now for the biggest change, pulse rifles are getting 20% more damage to all combatants, as well as 15% to minors. These changes do stack with each other. That's one of the biggest buffs to a weapon type in a pretty long time from what I can remember. So what are good pulses to grab right now? These two shouldn't be a surprise if you've been around the last month. Blast Furnace and Elsie's Rifle are the top picks for legendary pulses in general, and especially their damage options. For Blast Furnace, I'd stick with Kinetic Tremors and your choice of a damage perk in the 4th column. Personally, I'm going with Frenzy, but One for All, Firefly, Kill Clip are all good choices too. Elsie's Rifle has Rewind and Frenzy, which I think is a very solid general role in all of PvE, or you could get a nice Void build going with Repulsor and Destabilizing. Also, don't forget, both of these weapons will be enhanceable in the Final Shape. For Arc, I don't see any pulse beating out over Soul Edict. Demo or Enlightened Action with Volt Shot is great. Another good secondary option is Phylotactic Spiral. Solar actually has a few decent options. Darkest Before can get Deconstruct and Focus Fury that I think could be pretty nice together. It also has other top picks for solar builds like Incandescent and Heal Clip. Adhortive is craftable and also has good choices for a solar build like Darkest Before with a nice origin trait. It could be substituted with BXR as well since they're kinda similar with their perk options. Pulses for other elements are all pretty bad, so I'm not going to go over any, but feel free to browse yourself. Also, do yourself a favor and craft Outbreak. I think it's going to be pretty strong. Sidearms, trace rifles, and bows are also getting 20% to red bars. I'd say make sure you've got a good bow if you don't already, like Tyranny of Heaven. And autos are getting plus 15% to red bars. There's a bunch of good autos out there already, so just go wild with whatever you like. There's some random little buffs and nerfs thrown in there that I'll go over briefly. For nerfs, we have Osteostriga having a 4-second cooldown for spreading poison on kills. Divinity's Cage will take longer to come up. Lament's healing is being reduced by 20%. And Deconstruct now reloads from reserves, no longer granting free ammo. All pretty substantial nerfs. Some like Deconstruct I felt were coming eventually, but then there's Divinity and Lament catching strays just out of nowhere. For notable buffs, we've got Ariana's causing an ignition when breaking a matching shield or piercing a champion's barrier. Deterministic Chaos now has intrinsic anti-barrier and causes volatile on every 4th bullet and weaken on every 16th. Minimum sniper reserves go up from 14 to 17, and Chill Clip is finally being reverted to how it was on everything except rapid fire fusions, meaning it will only take 2 shots to freeze instead of 3. Go get yourself a good lingering dread if you've got the time. There's other buffs and nerfs in there, but I'm just covering the ones I think will have the most impact. Feel free to look at the full article yourself for all the changes. We've got 3 weeks of prep time left. Good luck to anyone farming, and thanks for your time.